Chosen one, what if I told you that even demons recognize your power now? That after everything you've been through, they don't just fear you, they respect you. You've been through battles most people wouldn't survive. The attacks, the betrayals, the spiritual warfare, you endured it all and you didn't break. But something has shifted. You feel it. The same forces that once tried to bring you down no longer come at you with the same intensity. The ones who tried to destroy you have backed off. They whisper instead of shout. They observe instead of attack. Because now they see who you truly are. You've risen beyond their reach, and even the darkness has no choice but to acknowledge your power. This is what happens when a chosen one steps into their full spiritual authority. The journey wasn't easy. They threw everything they could at you. Fear, doubt, manipulation, and destruction. But you overcame it all. And now, the unseen world moves differently around you. You are no longer prey. You are no longer running. You are standing in your power, and even those who once opposed you can do nothing but respect it. Stay with me, because in this video, I will reveal why your spiritual rank has elevated, how you can recognize the shift, and what this means for your next level of awakening. If you feel this message in your spirit, like this video and comment 77 below. What you're about to learn will change how you see yourself forever. How spiritual growth elevates your rank in the unseen world. There comes a point in your spiritual awakening where you realize you are no longer the same person you once were. The battles that once drained you no longer shake your foundation. The attacks that used to leave you questioning yourself now seem almost laughable. Something has shifted, not just within you, but around you. The energy that once surrounded you has changed. And now even the forces that once sought to break you have no choice but to acknowledge your power. This is what happens when you elevate in the unseen world. You are no longer merely existing, you are commanding authority. Those who once sought to keep you down are now forced to recognize that you cannot be moved. You are no longer vulnerable. You are no longer prey. You have risen and they see it. The journey to this point was not easy. You have been through tests, betrayals, and battles that left you questioning everything. The moments of darkness tried to consume you, and at times you may have felt like giving up. But something inside you refused to break. You kept going even when everything seemed against you. You endured the trials, the isolation, and the rejection. And through it all, you were being refined. Each hardship was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you into something greater. The enemy saw your potential before you did. That's why the attacks were so relentless in the beginning. They wanted to stop you before you realized who you truly were. But now they see that they failed. You are standing in your power, and the forces that once sought to break you now keep their distance. Because they know they can no longer touch you. This is not just coincidence. This is divine preparation. The Bible makes it clear that spiritual authority is earned through endurance. In Zechariah 3 verse 7, the Lord says, "If you walk in my ways and keep my requirements, then you will govern my house and have charge of my courts, and I will give you a place among those standing here." This means that when you prove yourself in battle, when you remain steadfast in your faith, you are elevated in the spiritual realm. You are no longer at the mercy of attacks, you now have dominion over them. The enemy recognizes rank. This is why certain things that used to trouble you no longer do. It is why you sense a new level of peace, a new level of confidence, a new level of knowing. Because you are not who you used to be. You have been given authority, and the spiritual world responds accordingly. You will notice signs of this shift everywhere. People will react to you differently. Some will show you an unexplainable level of respect, even if they do not understand why. Others will suddenly distance themselves, uncomfortable in your presence because they sense something in you that they cannot comprehend. Even those who once opposed you will hesitate before speaking against you. This is because your presence alone carries weight. You no longer need to fight unnecessary battles. Your energy speaks for itself. Doors will begin to open effortlessly, opportunities will align, and you will find yourself in the right places at the right time. This is divine alignment at work. You are now operating at a level where even unseen forces acknowledge you. They see that you are protected, that you are walking in divine purpose, and that you are not to be interfered with. This is the power of spiritual elevation. Now that you have reached this level, it is crucial to move with wisdom. Do not take this authority lightly. Just as you have risen, there will always be forces that seek to test your strength. But do not fear, because you have already proven yourself. Your power is no longer something you have to question. It is something you carry effortlessly. This is your confirmation that you have leveled up, that you are operating in a different dimension now. Walk with confidence. Walk with purpose. Know that you are seen, and know that you are respected. If you feel this message in your spirit, comment rank below. Let it be a declaration that you recognize your own spiritual growth, that you understand the power you now hold. You have stepped into your authority, and nothing can shake you now. Keep rising, keep walking in your purpose, and know that even the darkness must now respect who you have become. Signs that even demons respect your energy. There comes a moment in your spiritual awakening when you realize that the world around you is reacting differently to your presence. You may not have noticed it at first, but slowly, things have started to shift. The way people look at you, the energy in the room when you walk in, the way conversations change when you speak. It's all different now. You can feel it. Some people seem more drawn to you than ever, while others keep their distance. It's as if an unseen force is pushing certain individuals away while elevating others into your life. This is not your imagination. This is what happens when your spiritual authority reaches a new level. Even those who once opposed you, who whispered behind your back, who tried to break you, now hesitate before speaking your name. And it's not just people. The very forces that once tried to destroy you now recognize something in you that they cannot touch. You have become untouchable. The reason for this shift is simple: your energy has changed. When you first stepped onto this path, you were vulnerable. You didn't fully understand your power. You questioned yourself. You allowed the wrong people into your space and they drained you. You second-guessed your instincts, and that made you susceptible to manipulation. That's why the attacks came so fiercely back then. The enemy knew you were powerful, but they also knew you weren't yet aware of it. So they sent distractions. They sent betrayals. They sent struggles that made you question your worth. But you endured. You kept rising, kept learning, kept shedding the layers of doubt and fear that once held you back. And now you walk differently. You speak differently. You move with a confidence that is unshakable, and that alone has changed how the world perceives you. Those who once sought to harm you now tread lightly in your presence. Because even they can feel it, you are not the same. This shift is deeply spiritual, and it has always been part of God's plan for you. The Bible speaks about this transformation in Malachi 3 verse 3, saying, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver." This passage is powerful because it reveals that growth requires fire. The struggles you faced were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you, to purify your spirit so that nothing could break you again. And now that you have emerged from the fire, you are like gold, untouchable, valuable, radiant. The enemy sees this. Those who operate in darkness recognize it too. They understand that you have stepped into a level of divine protection that cannot be easily penetrated. That's why the spiritual attacks have lessened. That's why the opposition has weakened. Because you are no longer at their level. You will start to see undeniable signs that even demons respect your energy now. Pay attention to how people act around you. Some will become strangely quiet in your presence, as if they sense something greater in you but don't know how to name it. Others will suddenly become overly friendly, as if drawn to your light yet unsure of how to handle it. And then there are those who will avoid you completely. Certain people who once thrived on gossip, negativity, or manipulation will suddenly seem distant. This is not a coincidence. Your energy no longer matches theirs, and they can feel it. Even in the unseen realm, the forces that once tormented you are backing off. The nightmares that used to haunt you, they have faded. The sudden attacks that came out of nowhere, they no longer land, because your spiritual authority is now recognized. Luke 10 verse 19 declares, "Behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you." This is not just a promise. It is a reality that you are now living. You are no longer just someone who is spiritually aware. You are someone who walks in power. Your very presence disrupts what once sought to disrupt you. That is why people react to you the way they do. That is why the enemy no longer attacks you the same way. They see that you are no longer afraid. You no longer question your worth. You no longer entertain anything that does not align with your divine purpose. And because of that, they respect you even if they do not understand why. This is the moment when you fully step into who you were meant to be. You have risen above the chaos, above the distractions, above the fear. And now you stand as a force that cannot be ignored. If you have felt this shift in your life, if you have noticed people and energy reacting differently to you, comment power below. Let it be your declaration that you recognize the authority you now carry, that you understand the level you have reached, that you are no longer bound by the things that once held you back. You have stepped into your full power, and nothing can take that away from you. Keep rising, keep walking in your truth, and know this, your presence alone is enough to shake the very foundations of the world around you. Before we continue, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and share this video with another chosen one. And if you want to support this message, click the super thanks button. Now let's go deeper. Why darkness no longer seeks to destroy you. There was a time when it felt like everything was working against you. No matter how hard you tried, there was always something or someone standing in your way. You faced setbacks that seemed unfair, attacks that came out of nowhere, and obstacles that made no sense. You were drained, exhausted from the constant battles, wondering if you would ever reach a place of peace. But something has changed. The attacks that once came at you so aggressively have slowed down. The people who used to challenge you now hesitate before speaking. The chaos that once surrounded your life has started to fade. And you can feel it. Something about you is different. The darkness that once sought to destroy you has recognized something it cannot control. You have become something they cannot break. You have become untouchable. In the beginning, they tried to shatter you. They used people to betray you, circumstances to discourage you, and fear to keep you from stepping into your purpose. They whispered lies in your mind, trying to convince you that you were unworthy, that you were alone, that you would never rise. Every time you tried to move forward, another roadblock appeared. Every time you gained confidence, something came along to shake it. The goal was to keep you in a cycle of doubt and struggle, to make you believe that you were powerless. And for a while, it worked. You felt the weight of their attacks. You wondered why life was so much harder for you than for others. But what they didn't expect was your resilience. They didn't expect you to rise again, to push through, to find strength in the very things that were supposed to break you. They thought you would surrender, but you didn't. And now they see that you never will. This shift is no accident. It is divine preparation. The Bible makes it clear that those who endure are given authority. In Zephaniah 3 verse 19, God promises, "At that time I will deal with all who oppressed you. I will rescue the lame. I will gather the exiles. I will give them praise and honor in every land where they have suffered shame." What does this mean for you? It means that what you went through was not in vain. Every battle prepared you. Every hardship refined you. Every attack strengthened you. And now you walk in an authority that cannot be questioned. The enemy recognizes it. The darkness that once pursued you now keeps its distance, because they know they have no power over you anymore. They no longer see you as weak, as someone they can manipulate. They see you as someone who has risen beyond their reach. You can feel the change. The way people react to you has shifted. Some are more drawn to you than ever before, seeking your presence without understanding why. Others avoid you, unable to face the strength you now carry. Opportunities that once seemed impossible are suddenly opening. Situations that once drained your energy no longer affect you. Even your thoughts are clearer, no more spiraling doubt, no more second-guessing yourself. This is what it means to step into divine authority. You are no longer playing the game at their level. You have ascended, and now even the unseen forces that once tormented you can do nothing but watch. They do not waste their energy on battles they know they cannot win. Instead of attacking, they observe, waiting to see if there is still a weakness, still an opening. but you have learned. You have armored yourself in wisdom, in faith, in power. And because of that, you are no longer a target, you are a force they cannot ignore. This is where true power lies. It is not about fighting unnecessary battles or proving yourself to those who will never understand. It is about knowing who you are, standing firm in your truth, and refusing to be shaken by fear or doubt. You have earned your place in the spiritual hierarchy, and now your presence alone is enough to command respect. You no longer need to prove your worth. You no longer need to explain yourself to those who refuse to see. You simply exist in your full authority, and that alone is enough to shift the atmosphere around you. The tests may still come, but they will no longer have the same effect. You have outgrown the battles that once consumed you, and now you walk in power. If this message resonates with you, comment untouchable below. Let it be your declaration that you recognize your growth, that you see the shift happening in your life. You are no longer bound by the things that once held you back. You are no longer afraid of what once tried to destroy you. You have risen beyond their reach, and now, even the darkness has no choice but to respect your presence. Walk in this truth, stand in your power, and never again question who you are meant to be, how to wield your spiritual authority correctly. There is a shift happening in your life, and you can feel it. You are no longer the person you once were, no longer the one who doubted, who questioned, who allowed the world to dictate your worth. You have stepped into your power, and now the spiritual world recognizes it. You have fought battles, endured attacks, and risen from trials that were meant to break you. And yet, here you stand, stronger, wiser, untouchable. But with great power comes great responsibility. Now that you have reached this level, the question is, how will you wield your authority? How will you carry the mantle that has been placed upon you? Because make no mistake, this is where many fall. Not from weakness, but from carelessness. From losing sight of humility. From forgetting that true strength is not just about power, but about wisdom. If you have reached this point, then you must understand this truth. Spiritual rank is not just given, it is maintained. The danger of stepping into authority is that power can corrupt those who are not ready for it. You may have seen it happen to others. Someone who once walked in humility, now driven by ego. Someone who started with pure intentions, now seeking control. When you rise, the tests do not stop. They only change. The enemy no longer comes at you with doubt or fear, because those tactics no longer work. Instead, the test now is how you use what you have been given. Will you become what you once fought against? Will you wield your power recklessly, forgetting the struggles that shaped you? Or will you remain disciplined, staying aligned with the purpose that brought you here? Many start strong but lose themselves along the way. They allow the respect they receive to turn into arrogance. They begin to see themselves as above correction, above guidance. And this is where the fall begins. Proverbs 16 verse 18 warns, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." No matter how high you rise, no matter how much authority you hold, remember this: humility is your greatest protection. To wield your spiritual authority correctly, you must first understand its purpose. Your power is not meant for self-glory. It is not meant to control, manipulate, or prove your worth to others. It is meant to uplift, to guide, to be a light in the darkness. This is why discernment is essential. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some will try to use you for what you can do, rather than respect who you are. Others will seek to challenge you, to provoke a reaction, to test your patience. This is where wisdom is necessary. Just because you can respond does not mean you should. True authority is not about proving yourself. It is about knowing when to act and when to let silence speak for you. Even Jesus, with all his power, chose his battles wisely. He did not waste energy on those who refused to see. He did not seek validation from those who doubted him. He moved with precision, and that is exactly what you must do. As you walk in this new level, you will notice the shift in how the world responds to you. Some will be drawn to your presence, seeking guidance, wisdom, and reassurance. Others will feel threatened by you, unable to understand why your energy feels so different, so unshakable. You must navigate this carefully. Guide those who are meant to be guided, but protect your energy fiercely. Do not allow yourself to be drained by those who only seek to take from you. Set boundaries. Move with clarity. Stay rooted in your connection with God. This is the key to maintaining what you have built. The moment you allow distractions, the moment you let arrogance take hold, is the moment cracks begin to form. And the enemy is always watching, waiting for an opening. The higher you rise, the more critical it becomes to stay aligned. Stay humble. Stay focused. Stay discerning. This is your time to lead, but not in the way the world defines leadership. You are not here to dominate, you are here to inspire, to move in quiet strength, in unwavering faith, to be a reminder that true power is not in how loudly you speak, but in how deeply you impact those around you. The greatest leaders are those who serve, who protect, who guide with wisdom rather than force. Use your influence wisely. Never let pride make you forget where you came from. Never let power make you forget the lessons that shaped you. And never lose sight of the one who has led you to this point. Because the moment you start thinking you no longer need guidance is the moment you risk losing everything. If this message resonates with you, comment wisdom below. Let it be your declaration that you will move with intention, with humility, with purpose. That you will not fall into the traps that take down so many. That you will protect what you have been given and wield it with grace. You have come too far to let pride be your downfall. You have fought too hard to lose yourself now. Stand firm, move wisely, and watch how everything aligns for you when you lead not with ego, but with wisdom. You have come so far, but your journey is not over. Now that you hold this power, the question is, what comes next? What's next for you as a spiritual warrior? You have made it through battles most people wouldn't survive. You have endured tests that seemed impossible, walked through darkness that tried to consume you, and faced opposition from forces both seen and unseen. But you did not break. You did not give in. You rose. And now you stand at a new threshold, a point where survival is no longer your concern. You are past that stage. You are no longer fighting just to keep your head above water. Now it is about something greater. Now it is about elevation. You are stepping into a season where your mission is no longer just about overcoming. It is about leading, about helping others rise, about becoming the light that others will look to for guidance. You have been prepared for this, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Every struggle, every lesson, every moment of doubt has been shaping you into the warrior you were always meant to be. And now, the time has come for you to move with purpose like never before. But stepping into this new level comes with new challenges. Many who reach this stage make the mistake of thinking the battle is over, that they can now rest without vigilance. But make no mistake, the tests are not over. They are simply changing form. Instead of fighting to survive, you will now be tested on how well you handle power, how wisely you use your influence, how disciplined you remain when there are no immediate threats forcing you to stay strong. Some warriors, once they reach this stage, fall into complacency. They get comfortable believing that they have already done enough, that they can let their guard down. Others let pride creep in, mistaking their divine elevation for personal superiority. They begin to see themselves as above correction, above learning, above humility. And that is the fastest way to lose everything they have gained. Because at this level, your downfall will not come from external attacks. It will come from within. The greatest threat to a warrior who has already won their battles is arrogance, stagnation, or distraction. And if you are not careful, you may find yourself being tested in ways you never expected. But this is not meant to scare you. This is meant to prepare you. The truth is, your elevation was always part of the plan. God has been positioning you not just to survive, but to lead. The Bible reminds us of this in Isaiah 60 verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is your season to rise, not for your own sake, but for the mission ahead of you. There are people who need you, people who are where you once were, looking for answers, seeking guidance, desperate for someone who understands their journey. And you, having walked the path already, are now the one who can help them. This is why you were chosen. This is why you endured. This is why you were strengthened. Your battles were not just for your own growth. They were to equip you to help others, to be a light in the darkness, to step into your full power and use it for something greater than yourself. And you will begin to see the signs of this shift. Opportunities will come your way that you never imagined. People will be drawn to you, seeking wisdom, asking for your insight, looking for guidance they cannot find anywhere else. You will notice that your presence alone shifts the atmosphere, that when you walk into a room, the energy changes. This is because you are now walking in a level of divine authority that cannot be ignored. And with that authority comes responsibility. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you act, it all matters now more than ever, because people are watching, not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual realm as well. The darkness that once tried to break you will now watch to see how you wield the power you have been given. Will you use it wisely? Will you stay aligned with your mission? Will you continue to grow? Or will you become complacent? These are the questions that will define your next stage. So what comes next for you as a spiritual warrior? Expansion, growth, alignment. You are no longer just an individual walking this path. You are now a guide, a leader, a force that cannot be stopped. You must stay committed to your own spiritual development, continuously learning, continuously refining your gifts. You must remain humble, remembering that the journey is never over, that there is always more to discover, more to master. You must stay disciplined, keeping your focus on what truly matters and refusing to be distracted by anything that does not serve your higher purpose. And most importantly, you must continue to move with faith, because even now, as you step into this new level, there will be moments of uncertainty. Moments where you question whether you are ready. Moments where the weight of responsibility feels too heavy. But understand this, you would not be here if you were not ready. You would not have been given this level of power if you were not meant to wield it. If this message resonates with you, comment Elevate below. Let it be your declaration that you are stepping fully into your divine purpose. That you are no longer just surviving, you are thriving. That you will move with wisdom, with confidence, and with purpose. You have come too far to stop now. You have risen too high to fall back into old patterns. This is your moment to step fully into the warrior you were always meant to be. Nothing can stop you now. Keep rising, keep growing, keep leading. Your time is now. You have felt it, haven't you? The undeniable shift within yourself. Something profound, something powerful. Perhaps it began as a whisper, a small stirring in your soul that grew louder over time. It's a change you can't ignore anymore. The person you once were is gone, replaced by someone stronger, wiser, and more aware. You're beginning to realize that the challenges you've faced, the trials that once seemed insurmountable, have not defeated you. They have refined you. You may have wondered why you had to endure so much, why the struggle felt endless. But now, standing here, you can feel the truth. You've risen. You've become someone the spiritual realm can no longer overlook, someone whose very presence commands respect. It hasn't been an easy road, though. Think back to the times when you felt crushed under the weight of your battles, when the darkness felt overwhelming, and you questioned whether you could make it through. The nights of doubt, the moments of despair, the feeling that no one truly understood what you were going through. Those were real. They were painful. You might have felt isolated, as if the entire world was against you, and even the smallest step forward seemed impossible. The struggle was not just external, but deeply internal. How many times did you doubt your own worth? How many times did you look in the mirror and wonder if you'd ever be whole again? The emotional weight of those experiences can't be overstated. But in retrospect, those struggles shaped you. They forced you to dig deep, to find a strength you didn't know you had, to rise above the pain and keep moving forward. Zechariah 3 verse 2 offers an often overlooked reminder of the authority you now carry. The Lord said to Satan, "The Lord rebuke you, Satan, the Lord, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Is not this man a burning stick snatched from the fire?" This passage reveals that even when the enemy tries to accuse, tries to destroy, God has the final word. And now you stand as that burning stick plucked from the flames. What once sought to consume you has only illuminated your purpose. The struggles you endured weren't just random misfortunes. They were part of a divine preparation. God allowed the fire to refine you, to strip away what no longer served you, and to make you into someone who cannot be ignored. If this message resonated with you, subscribe, share it, and let your voice be heard. Comment, "I am chosen" below, because that is exactly who you are. Walk in power, walk in confidence, and walk in the truth of your transformation.